Welcome to Vets Talk, the veterans' take on our world today. Fair, unbalanced, and courageously honest. I am Dr. Scott McGill, Executive Director of Veterans in Defense of Liberty. And the other day I was talking to a snowflake, and she asked in the course of the conversation, "Why do you carry?" I think my response shocked her. I said, well, because I can't throw a rock at 1,324 feet per second, to which I got a blank stare. And then she changed the conversation to something very superficial. But you know, the truth is, the mind is the weapon, the gun is a tool. The Second Amendment plainly states, and the rights of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. However, the meaning of those words runs much deeper than commonly considered. The Bill of Rights, in fact, delineates a few of our personal, inalienable rights. These delineations protecting individual liberties have deep roots in Western culture. First recognized by the Magna Carta, then by the English Bill of Rights, and then by the charters of the British colonies of the Americas. These articulated liberties are human efforts to establish government that conforms to the laws of nature and of nature's God. The Second Amendment is derived from an inalienable right possessed by mankind from the very beginning of time, the right of man to protect himself. Throughout all the ages, whenever the mind deemed it necessary, the right of self-protection has been exercised with the use of available tools: fists, rocks, guns, clubs, spears, arrows, swords, to name but a few. The mind is always a weapon used in self-defense. The tool the mind selects is dependent upon which is accessible and most effective to meet the challenge. When the Second Amendment is suspended and the universal, inalienable right of self-defense is outlawed, situations such as UCC, Oregon, become inevitable. Remember Chris Mintz, the 30-year-old, 10-year Army veteran whose rights to self-defense had been suspended at UCC, and the only tool he had at his disposal was his own body. Hence, he was shot 7 times. When the mind, the weapon, said, the only tool you have is use your body, go. And as he was trained to do, he charged the ambush. Had his rights not been abdicated by those defining the area as a gun-free zone, which is actually a laws of nature and of nature's God-free zone, it is probable Chris would not have been shot. The shooter would not have entered the classroom, and the innocent would have not been wounded or killed. Contrast Chris Mintz at UCC with Stephen Wilford, the Sutherland Springs resident who heard the shots, and knowing each shot could represent a lost life, he grabbed his AR-15, the same rifle that the left wants to ban, and he charged the ambush. An ambush against soft targets, and he neutralized the threat. We will never know if the shooter would have gone on to kill others had he not been neutralized. But we do know that being confronted by a good guy with a gun is the only thing that stops these psychopathic mass murderers. We do know that when confronted with a good guy with a gun, these psychopathic narcissists who commit mass murder, their narcissistic beliefs being so conflicted, at that point, they generally take their own life, as Kelly did. We also know that between 1993 and 2013, gun sales in this country doubled the number of guns owned by Americans. During that same period, homicide by guns dropped by 50%. This is an inconvenient truth for those calling for further violations of the Second Amendment. I shudder to think how many died in the Sutherland Springs Baptist Church with their last thought being, my gun is in my car. If only I could get to my car. One point must be made over and over. These mass murders are government-caused, preventable outrages against the American people. In the case of Sutherland Springs, Texas, they were government-caused on two fronts. Our Pentagon also let us down. But our citizens will continue to be slaughtered en masse as long as we impose the Constitution-free killing fields on our communities. Gun-free zones are places where we announce to the bad guys that it is open season on law-abiding citizens. Places where our Bill of Rights is suspended, where every citizen's natural, God-given, inalienable right to self-defense has been outlawed. Realize, since 1950, 92% of all mass shootings occurred in unconstitutional, gun-free zones. And every successful and thwarted mass murder has proven that the only thing that ever stops the bad guys with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Ignoring that undeniable reality will continue to needlessly cause Americans grievous loss of life. General Blackjack John J. Pershing summed it up somewhat more directly when speaking to a group of Marines, and he told them, the deadliest weapon in the world is a Marine and his rifle. It is your killer instinct which must be harnessed if you expect to survive combat. Your rifle is only a tool. If your killer instincts are not clean and strong, you will hesitate at the moment of truth. You will not kill. You will become dead Marines. And then you will be in a world of shit, because Marines are not allowed to die without permission. So what is the takeaway point? The point is that every culture will have its narcissistic psychopaths, and nothing will eliminate them entirely, and surely not by corrupting the Second Amendment. Or as the Arkansas Supreme Court ruled in 1878, if cowardly and dishonorable men sometimes shoot unarmed men with army pistols or guns, the evil must be prevented by the penitentiary and the gallows, not by a general deprivation of our constitutional privileges. We must change the mindset, and the only way we can do that is by returning the American culture to its solid foundation of Judeo-Christian values. The only way we can do that is by returning America to America. This has been Vets Talk, fair, unbalanced, and courageously honest.